How many of you are first-time caucus goers? Raise your hands.
This is not actually an Iowa caucus, but it looks a lot like one.
23 votes.
It's supposed to. It's put on by the League of United Latin American Citizens, or LULAC, to prepare Des Moines Latino voters to caucus, especially those who are new to this sometimes intimidating process.
We're trying to make sure that we mitigate any type of fear or mitigate any type of problem that we may have. And making sure that people know what the caucuses looks like.
Latino voters are not at the top of the list when one thinks of the Iowa caucuses. Iowa ranks 36th in the United States in Hispanic population, but their numbers have grown, and activists are trying to make sure that their influence does as well.
They can't win without us.
Joe Enriquez Henry runs the Iowa chapter of LULAC, a national organization, and he believes the Latino vote in this state is vital this year.
No candidate, neither Democrat or Republican, can win without our vote, without the concerns that we have. They need to address those concerns.
Where are we going? Straight ahead here.
And in 2016, those concerns have been amplified by language from candidates like Republican Donald Trump, which has been heard by many as racist and particularly anti-Latino.
If it took his rhetoric to get us involved, well then, today it's going to be his fault that Latinos end up winning and playing such a large role in this presidential election.
Hector Salamanca Arroyo is an undocumented Iowan who cannot vote.
It is a barrier, but for myself, personally, it's not a barrier to political participation.
And participation is a centerpiece of the effort. This year, LULAC is taking advantage of an unprecedented list of Latino voters in Iowa.
We've spent the last 8 years creating our own list by purchasing the huge voter file from the state of Iowa. We have filtered through almost 2 million registered voters to determine who those Latino voters are.
Latin voters are a growing demographic here. Over 175,000 Iowans are Hispanic, and while that's only 6% of the total population here, that number has more than doubled since the year 2000, meaning that the Latin vote is going to be a big force in caucus years to come. And in the Iowa caucus, you don't need big numbers to make a big difference.
The caucuses only have about 200,000 participants. It's kind of an inside game, but now we're part of that.
And they're going door to door to invite more Latino voters to the game. Fred Trujillo also volunteers with LULAC.
I'm glad you're attending.
Okay.
Have a great night.
Yep, you too.
Okay. The first step is to get them engaged, make them realize that they do have a voice.
Even as they organize, reminders of what they are up against are constant. This sign was just blocks away from where Trujillo was canvassing.
Our country doesn't need this hate, and our community has taken the responsibility to make sure that we turn back this hate.
Henry and the rest of the Latino community in Iowa feel as if the caucus room is the best place to start doing that.
You're going to see young brown faces sitting in the same room with old white folks.
Uncommitted. You have 11 votes, right?
And in a caucus, una voz, a voice, can make all the difference. Michael Schur, Al Jazeera, Des Moines, Iowa.